Hi, welcome to Hansen Speed Shop. Thanks for stopping by today for another one of our custom Hot Wheels builds. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, I'd like to thank you guys. The real reason I do YouTube is just to share cool stuff with people, trying to inspire people to go out and do cool stuff, and I hope that you guys do that and take something away from any of my videos, whether it's you learned something, you've seen something you've never seen before, or seen something you might want to do for yourself. And that's really what this is all about. So, today we're looking at a cool pair of cars. As you might or might not know from watching my videos, I'm a huge Munsters fan, a huge George Bears fan. And today we're going to be doing something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. My favorite episode of the Munsters was Hot Rod Herman, where Herman always trying to impress Eddie and be, the hero dad. Eddie's friend at school. His dad drives a top fuel dragster, and Eddie's trying to convince this kid that Herman's the best driver in the world, and then basically gets Herman to take their family car right here, the Munster Koach, to the drag strip to impress his friend. But little did they know that Eddie's friend's dad is Leadfoot Baylor on the show, and he's like the top drag racer at the strip, and gets Herman to race for pinks, and Herman loses. And in the first race, Herman races a rail dragster, which we're going to be building out of this car. This is a Hot Wheels Tommy Ivo dragster. This came out in 2003 in kind of a round case. Now the car in the show had a small block Chevy, and this has a Hemi in it. We'll get to more of that in just a second. I remember one of the times when I met Butch Patrick, who played Eddie Munster on the Munsters. I asked him if he remembered any details on that dragster, like what color it was and stuff, because you always just see, the shows obviously in black and white. And I had some speculations, and he remembered that day, and then he brought up sitting in a dragster that said Raider wheels on it, which I've seen that picture, and that car was black, but that car is a different car because it had a Hemi in it, and he wasn't sure. So then I started digging into some more on the car, because you can see on the show it says CT Strokers on the side of the car, and then sure enough I found pictures of it, and it was kind of a candy apple red color. And then later on, when I was talking to Butch Patrick again, I mentioned it to him, and then he was kind of surprised and kind of remembered that, and so that was pretty cool. So we're going to be building the Leadfoot Baylor dragster using this Hot Wheels Tommy Ivo dragster, and then this is a Racing Champions Munster Koach, and it's very nicely detailed just as is. We're just going to do some things to make it a little bit better, like painting these supports. They're supposed to be black, and then I might detail like underneath the chassis and stuff. And then by the end of the video, we should have the pair, and we'll do some cool pictures of my drag strip and kind of try to replicate this. So we'll get this dragster torn apart, and then we'll go. All right, so we got the car blown apart, and as you can see, for such a small car, this thing is super detailed. There's a ton of parts and pieces to it. I wiped off with some acetone all the logos on it, so I'm really not even going to need to strip this thing, because the silver will provide a nice base. I'll just scuff that up. Here's our wheels and tires and front axle. Here's the engine that came with the car. I'm going to be using these zoomy headers off of it. Otherwise, we're going to be using this little small block Chevy correct to the car with the same style scoop and everything. And that was sourced from a 56 Chevy from Hot Wheels. Here's the front end. So otherwise, this is basically just going to be a repaint with some detailing. And once we get a little bit more work done, we'll go from there. Okay, back to our Hot Rod Herman double car build that we're doing here, which is going to be the Munster Koach and the Leadfoot Baler dragster. Got the Munster Koach all torn apart, and that is ready to just get, some finishing detail on it and then put it back together. And then we've got our dragster body here all painted in a beautiful correct candy apple red paint job. Really all I have to do on here is, just like some detailing. The real car had some kind of like a raspberry silver scallop on top of here, and then I have to do some logos on it, the roll bar and parachute. And then I've got this correct little small block Chevy with the same looking blower and scoop and everything on it. That was sourced out of a 56 Chevy from Hot Wheels. So basically, once I got the detailing on the car done, then all that's left to do is put that together along with the coach. Things coming along really cool. Super happy with this. Really excited for it because I wanted to do this for a long time, and I think you guys are really going to dig it too. So we'll see you at the final unveil, because there's really not a lot of left to do other than like some detailing and put the things back together like I said. So we'll see you at the final unveil. All right, gang, welcome to the final unveil of our Hot Rod Herman build. Just want to start the video off right here, kind of capturing that famous scene filmed at Lions Drag Strip at the Munster Koach and the CT Strokers Leadfoot Baler dragster right here at the starting line, ready to rip. So we're going to take a little bit better look at these cars and go over everything that I did to them just here in a second. All right, guys, these cars turned out just awesome. Super happy with them. We'll start off with the Leadfoot dragster. This thing started out, as you remember, as the Tommy Ivo dragster. It was silver, and basically we had to do quite a bit more than I thought we were going to have to get this thing to look like the real car, including a repaint, different back wheels, and a different engine, along with a lot of detailing. So the engine in the real car is a small block Chevy blown on nitro. So this engine we had to take out of a 56 Chevy from Hot Wheels. It had the same looking scoop on it and injectors and everything. And then I originally thought that I was going to be able to just set it on top of the piece from the original engine with the headers, but it was sitting up way too high, so I had to trim the headers off and then glue them onto this engine. Got the engine sitting down pretty good. It should actually really, in all reality, be sitting down slightly lower, but it's not too bad. I'm happy with it. The real car had like some magnesium American torque thrust wheels on the back of it. This car had like some slotted wheels. So these rims were sourced off another car, and then I popped the old rims out of these tires and then popped these rims in, then detailed them out to look more like a magnesium wheel. Painted over the original silver with a nice candy red, and then detailed the back of the car black with the roll bar to look like the real car. Detailed the engine block out gloss black. The headers are satin white. Detailed out the blower. In between the fins is satin black, and the injectors are a red, and then detailed out the scoop black, and then kind of did the fins chrome. And then as you can see, I did the scallops on top of the car in kind of a raspberry silver color, just like the real car. Did the CT strokers on the side, and then underneath the headers says Chet Herbert cams. We'll take a look at the other side of the car. Trying to be gentle with this thing. Left all the steering linkages and in the front end, everything chrome. Left the front wheels alone. basically just the same on this side, the Chet Herbert cams and the CT strokers, which kind of gets covered up with the steering arm. Chrome radius rods, detailed out the back of the car, just did the parachute black. The whole rear of the car is black like I talked about. Underneath it's just candy apple red. But really, really happy with this car. Turned out super cool. Wanted to do something like this for years. Really happy with the dragster. So then we'll put the dragster over here, and we'll take a look at the Munster Koach. So this thing started out as the Ertl Munster Koach. Johnny Lightning also makes a 1/64th scale Munster Koach, but I like the detailing on the Ertl one a little bit better. It has nicer wheels and tires on it. Just a little bit nicer detailing, I think. That's just my opinion. I tore the whole thing apart, as you've seen. I didn't do any modifying on this car, just detailed it out nicer. And I got rid of the little Munsters logo. The real car didn't actually say the Munsters on it, so I'm not, I don't know why that's on there. I just used a little acetone, got rid of that. And then the whole interior of the car is, originally just molded in a red plastic, which looked kind of cheesy and fake. So I painted the whole interior satin red. The real car has crushed red velvet interior in it. Then, let's see, I took the engine out, painted the engine red, which is kind of hard to see, I guess. I painted around the windshield frame to finish that out chrome. I painted these rear supports on the seat black because that's correct. Detailed out the little snap buttons on the rear roof cover. And I detailed out the underneath. As you can see, the real car had a aluminum Cobra oil pan on it. Detailed out the transmission. As you can see, I did the engine in red. The real Munster Koach had a small block Ford in it that was punched out to 425 cubic inches. It had 10 carburetors on it. It had a Chet Herbert cam in it and some custom Bobby Bar headers. And the real car was actually so highly souped up and modified that it was really tough to keep it, in perfect running tune on the show. I know I heard a lot of stories of they could never really get the thing to, it didn't really want to idle or drive slow because it basically put a full-blown drag engine in a TV car. It wasn't just a prop, engine with fake stuff on it. It was totally legit. But they did have issues during filming, just kind of, the car didn't want to just drive slow or whatever, so they'd have some issues getting it started and just idling and whatever. But both the cars came out super cool. Really happy with it. If you're like kind of geeky about stuff like this, like the Munsters or whatever TV show you might like, pretty cool to do something like this. We're going to do some pictures at the end of the video, kind of try to recreate some of the scenes from that episode. If you dug this build, you dug the cars, or maybe you like the Munsters or the episode Hot Rod Herman especially, comment below. Let me know what you think. I read everybody's comments, and I always try to reply to everybody. Give it a thumbs up, and get out, work on your own projects. Get your hands dirty. Stay cool, and we'll see you cats on the next one. Thanks for watching.
150-year-old teenage punk.
I wish you wouldn't do this.
I just can't fight it, chick. I gotta get out there and drag it with the gases. Otherwise, doll, I might blow by cool.
Build us a car that I'm going to take to the drag races next Saturday, and that I personally will win back our car from this lead-foot Baylor by beating him at his own game.
Okay, you can bring her out now, Grandpa. I really got to hand it to you, Grandpa. This is quite an attractive vehicle. Detroit could take a lesson from this design.
Look, there's Grandpa at the starting line.